Have you guys ever wondered what it would be like to have, you know, a legend of the sport like a Michael Schumacher or an Ayrton Senna to come into F1 now and see how they would fare against real life drivers? I wonder this all the time, and I'm sure you guys too. So I thought I'd make the most of F1 2019 having the Legends edition of the game. My opinions about Legends edition is, I don't know, I feel like it's a little bit controversial. I don't really like it, but what I do like is the fact that we can utilize Ayrton Senna and Alan Prost in the game now. So I'm going to do just that. We're going to do a 100% race as Ayrton Senna around Monaco, and he's going to go head-to-head up against Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes. To make things more difficult, we're going to be starting from the back, and we have to charge our way through over the course of 78 laps. Strap in, this is going to be an awesome video.
A proper road race, and in the true meaning of the word. That was how Mr. Monaco, the late great Graham Hill, once described this iconic event. The cars we drive have come a long way in the intervening half-century, but still we race on those same public roads beside the Mediterranean Sea. There's no victory more coveted than that of the Monaco Grand Prix. And it's an absolute pleasure to be joined once again by Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about the scientist. There's a new gearbox in the back of that car, which means a grid penalty, and hopefully some excitement as they make their way through the field.
Well, at the end of the day, it's always better to take some pain now than parking it up halfway through the Grand Prix. Let's just hope they can put that new gearbox to good use and get the results they're looking for.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and starting alongside him P2 is Sebastian Vettel. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Gasly, Nico Hülkenberg and Perez, Ricciardo, Grosjean, Magnussen and Kimi Raikkonen. Sainz, Norris, Charles Leclerc, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And Stroll, Albon, Fiat, Antonio Giovinazzi and George Russell, Kubica and the scientist. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Right, I know that people are rapidly typing in the comments, why have you chosen the scientist as your commentary name for Ayrton Senna? Basically, there is no Ayrton and there is no Senna. There was Rainmaster, but for some reason I left it as the scientist, so there you go, that is the reasoning for that. Here we are, Monaco race, shall I say. Last place on the grid, we're going for the medium compound tyre to start off this Grand Prix, and it will be a two-stop race, looking likely for the rest of the field as well. So that'll spice up the action somewhat, since we're doing more stops than what somewhat occurs in real life. So there will be a couple of chances for us to get an edge over the AI in terms of strategy. All the top 10 runners on the soft compound tyres. So an overcut will certainly be possible on those drivers who are not in top teams. But anyway, here we go. 5 red lights for Ayrton Senna, and it is away we go for this Monaco Grand Prix. 78 laps worth of action are upon us, and the last thing I want to do is chuck it in the barrier at turn 1. So we're going to go nice and cautious off the start. Possibly a lot different to probably the mindset that maybe Ayrton Senna would have if he was driving in this turbo hybrid Mercedes. It really would be so different, wouldn't it? Seeing the drivers of yesteryear driving these modern beasts. But anyway, it's an absolute car park in the Fairmont hairpin. We've made contact with Russell apparently, and we've made contact with him again. That was a very kind of dirty move, I will admit. It was just, I shortchanged him there at the hairpin, and I don't really care, to be honest. We're just going to press on. It is kind of an exhibition race. We're going to march through the field and go for gaps whenever we possibly can. If you no longer go for a gap, you are no longer a racing driver. I'm pretty sure someone said that once. But anyway, joking, of course. I'm going to get lots of hate in this video, I'm sure. Turn 1, big dive bomb on Danny Kvyat, and we're into P18. Thank you very much. Robert Kubica, he's up next. Outside, inside, no. We're going to hold it in for now. Just bottle up that frustration that we've got tucked up behind a Williams. It's side by side, and I think we touched the wall there just ever so slightly, and another touch with the wall. Thankfully, we are fine. Ayrton raises a hand of frustration, and we are through. The P17 brakes are glowing as we run into Mirabeau for the third time of 78. So this race is going to be the best part of 90 minutes, maybe longer, depending on the race pace. If there's safety cars are on, by the way, damage is on, simulation. I'm running no assists, and I'm pretty sure the hardest AI difficulty, because, well, we are in a Mercedes. If it's not hardest difficulty, it's definitely like 107 or something like that. Either way, the AI are ridiculous this year. Speaking of ridiculous, that move, P16, thank you very much. Giovinazzi is up next. Let's get a replay of the move. Up the inside in a casino square. Thankfully, the Toro Rosso left us plenty of space, and we were able to slide on through for that position. Next up is Giovinazzi. Like I said, the Alfa Romeo Sauber. Am I allowed to say Sauber still in 2019? Has a decent amount of straight line speed, but that doesn't matter to Ayrton. He goes clean around the outside into turn 1, and that is probably the best move I've done so far. So the initial moves that I was pulling off, or me? I didn't say me. I meant Ayrton was pulling off in the opening stages of the race. We're quite nervy. Okay, screw it. I'm going to go back to first person. I was quite nervous in the early stages of this race. A bit hesitant to pull off moves here and there, and yeah, just the decision making, I've got to say, was probably not the best, but now that I'm starting to settle into the race, I'm definitely making better choices now. Around the outside, is this a good choice? I'm not sure. On a racing point, we get it done anyway. Thank you, Jeff. And we're into P14. I'd say, team radio.
We're trailing our teammate by 15.2 seconds. They're on old softs. They're in second. The time last lap was a 1 minute 15.0.
Oh dear. Hamilton's in P2 after being in pole position at the Monaco Grand Prix. How has he lost the lead? Here's a replay of the start to find out exactly what happened on the first lap. So Hamilton gets the good getaway, but Vettel just goes cleanly around the outside. Hamilton was mounting the curb to leave space for Vettel, but Vettel didn't need any second invitation, took that space, and took the lead of the Monaco Grand Prix. I think Lewis will be ruining that mistake to let Vettel go through, so he'll possibly get bottled up behind him for the opening stint of this race, possibly. We'll have to do something in terms of strategy to get the leg up over the Ferrari. But meanwhile, in Senna land, we are stuck behind Lando Norris, Slipstream, DRS, and again, another move around the outside. We're getting pretty confident with this move, to be honest, and it's turning out to be our bread and butter at the moment here at Monaco. This is, I think, one of the Haas's we were just looking at, and this is the battle we're starting to close up to at the moment. Sergio Perez right in the thick of things in the midfield. Charles Leclerc is down the order a little bit here in his Ferrari, so he's going to have a tough old day trying to get back through the field on lap 11. But like I was going to say before the team radio about Hamilton popped up, anyone who's on softs right now is going to be getting quite close to their pit window. So this will be the phase of the Grand Prix where things really start to open up for us, where I'm not making... Oh, don't try it. We nearly put ourselves in the barrier there, trying to find a way around Charles Leclerc. I know the Ferrari doesn't have the greatest amount of downforce in the world, but trying to pull off a move like that, that's ballsy. Don't think we're going to pull it off on this level of AI in 2019. They are certainly quite a bit faster, but anyway, Lando made his pit stop. Leclerc kind of got boxed in behind him, and I just kind of grazed his rear diffuser there, and we were lucky to get away with no damage. Again, just having these tiny little touches with the AI here and there, and we always seem to get off scot-free. That time around at the hairpin, we actually didn't make contact, but the front left end plate was kind of fluttering at low speed, which was interesting. Meanwhile, a move on Charles Leclerc, not quite. A double lock-up, though, into Mirabeau. The tyres will be loving that. But Lewis is into the pit lane on lap 15 of this Monaco Grand Prix. It'll be interesting to see what he can do up against Vettel. I think Vettel has stayed out. So, an early stop for Hamilton. Early stops for the AI often don't work out at Monaco, so all the best to him as he rejoins on the circuit behind me and behind a few other midfield cars. No, he's actually come out just behind me, so he's jumped Carlos Sainz, and he is, yeah, effective P2 in this Grand Prix. Let's see how long it takes Vettel to respond. Team radio. Team radio.
Lewis is behind you. Less than a second separate you. They're on fresh softs. We think they've got 2 stops remaining.
Took an absolute age to ask Jeff the question. But I think I didn't ask because I was in the tunnel and there's like always interference. So there's no point asking a question because you won't hear him. So yeah, I guess I should have realized that. But anyway, Lewis on fresh soft compound tires. He's got a nice run on the start finish straight and he's having a little go here. We close the gap and we maintain position for now, but Lewis is looking ever threatening on his fresh tires. If ever there's a place you can defend your position, it's this place. And I'm going to make damn sure that I'm going to keep him behind for the rest of my stint. Engineer says that he's got 2 more stops remaining. So he effectively, he's on level pegging with us now. So if we can keep him behind for the rest of this stint, that'd really put pain to his race and really put us at level pegging with our teammate. At such an early stage in the Monaco Grand Prix, that could yield massive dividends later on in the race. So in terms of my goals and stuff for this race, I'm hoping to get on the podium, but you never know. I feel like the pace is good enough. Well, it should be good enough in a Mercedes, but we've got a lot of cars to overtake, a lot of strategy left to unfold, and who knows, maybe the odd safety car or 2. Raikkonen looking slow. We dive to the inside for the Nouvelle chicane. We just make that, or no, we don't really make that, but we did our best efforts to try and make the corner, but we get the move done anyway, and we will press on with this race. Nice move. Very instinctive, I would say that move was. I was looking for a move around the outside, but then I just flicked to the left to dive for the inside. I had a very tight angle to make the chicane in my defense. I tried my best to absolutely slow it up, but I couldn't quite get it pulled up, and Raikkonen actually cut the corner as well, so there you go. Both of us are somewhat guilty. Here's the view from on board of Lewis. He actually gets blocked in by Raikkonen quite a bit there, so he won't be too happy about that, seeing his teammate soar off into the distance now as he gets held behind an Alfa Romeo. So we'll see. Oh, Hamilton's made the move as well on Raikkonen. Could this be the exact same move that I made? It is as well. He's faked to the right and gone left. So whatever Senna can do, this is going to be a controversial statement, Lewis Hamilton can do better. He actually managed to pull it up without cutting the corner as well. Unbelievable scenes there from the Mercedes boys. And we're both in podium positions now, trying to chase down Sebastian Vettel in this Monaco Grand Prix. Team orders? Hell bloody no, there's going to be no team orders today at Mercedes. We're going to press on and we're going to duke it out for second place. Maybe even the win, depending on what Vettel can muster in this race. He's now dived it in for his first stop. His first stop of the Grand Prix. So he went really long on his soft compound tyres, overcutting the guys in the midfield. And now he's rejoined just a few seconds up the road. So Vettel is looking really, really solid for the win today here at Monaco. Medium tyres he's gone on to. Lewis Hamilton on the soft, so his middle stint isn't going to be a very long one. And speaking of that, he's now in for another stop. What tyres does he go on to? You're joking. He's gone on the softs again, so he's definitely committing to the 3 stop today. That is unbelievable strategy from Mercedes. But we'll see if it works out for him. If there's a safety car maybe later on, it could bring him back into the game. It remains to be seen whether Vettel will pit again for another set of mediums or whether he'll go hards at some point. That remains to be seen, but here we are diving in for our first stop of the race. I know, first stop of the race, and it's lap 30, but we still have one more to make after this. We're going to go to softs to make it to the end. That's the helicopter shot of Hamilton stuck behind a big bout of traffic as we do the overcut. We might just about be able to jump Hamilton here. It's going to be very close as he's overtaking one of the Renaults side by side into turn 1. And look at that. That was all the difference. The lap of traffic for Hamilton has meant that he's been boxed in by me again. And now it's level footing because we're both on fresh tyres. Absolute scenes in this Monaco Grand Prix. Hamilton has absolutely no luck. We reacted at the perfect time. I knew that I had to respond on the next lap to make sure I could stay in touching distance of Hamilton. He's not over yet. He goes around the outside into the Nouvelle chicane. He cuts the corner as well for good measure. Should have gone for the inside, mate. You might have had a better chance. but I was blocking it off. Tyres look in good shape, and now we can press on with this race. We've got a massive advantage over Hamilton now. Harder compounded tyre, so we're able to run longer into the race. It's one stop remaining for both of us now. So, yeah, the ball is essentially in my court to make sure I keep him behind. The longer I keep him behind, the stronger my race pace will get, and he'll slowly start to fade away as his softs fade out much faster than mine. And then I'll have the faster compound on the car for the dying laps of this race. So essentially, it's yeah, looking like the early ascendancy for us, but there's still a long way to go. There could be safety cars, virtual safety cars, all of the like, which could really throw a spanner into the works. I don't think we've had a retirement yet in this race, which has been quite shocking, really. Meanwhile, Vettel is out front. He's running his own race in clear air. He's having a good time of things. Meanwhile, us, we're also having a quite good time of things, just trying to chase him down at this stage. Verstappen has now got himself into P3 as Vettel is now encountering quite a lot of this traffic. He's actually just got his way through all the traffic, and now we have to deal with it. So, yeah, the gap is closed to about 5-6 seconds, but I'd imagine it's going to stretch out quite massively now as Vettel gets the best of clear air. So, this is going to be quite frustrating now. Lap 50. So, 28 laps to go in this Monaco Grand Prix. And I feel like it's gone by like an absolute flash. In this video, I run wide through to back, which is not great. Giovinazzi, get out of the way, please. Stroll makes his pit stop. And Sainz also needs to get out of the way. Thank you. Sainz, where are you going to let me go through? In the middle of a corner? Yep, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Nearly binned it in the wall for good measure as well. But there we go. We've cleared the traffic. And now we can set about trying to catch Sebastian Vettel. Hamilton, by the way, stuck behind another car. That's Gasly. He's struggling to find a way past. He still needs to make another stop. But Hamilton, I think he's clear to run to the end now on his medium tyres. Meanwhile, in Senna land, we're getting held up by Charles Leclerc. We mentioned Charles Leclerc like 40 laps ago. Probably in the same position that he's in now. He's stuck behind a Williams and can't get past. So I really feel for the lad. Let's see if he can make advantage of the Williams getting out of the way for me. And he does. So there we go. The cork in the bottle has been released. Charles has got through on the Williams. And now it'll be a good strategy ploy for Charles to follow me through and maybe overtake people who are getting lapped and have to get out of the way for me, possibly. Meanwhile, Hamilton finally getting the move done on Gasly. He's through for P3 and has his sights set on me. But I think he's the best part of like 20 seconds behind me. So, me personally, I'm in no man's land. Vettel is 20 seconds in front of me. Hamilton 20 seconds behind me. Even though Vettel has just made his stop, so the gap will be a lot closer now. But Vettel is now on fresh medium tyres. And we have to make one more stop to make it to the end of this race. So Vettel's consistency, I've got to say, has been really solid. He's been getting through the traffic really well. He's just got through another train of cars, which we now have to deal with before we make our stop. So this is going to make life quite awkward for us. And as time progresses, I'm slowly starting to realise that my chances of winning this Monaco Grand Prix are slipping by the minutes. Again, another lap car getting in the way in the middle of turn 1. Why? Just why? But anyway, it's pit stop time. 15 laps left to go in this race, and we still have all 20 runners in the Grand Prix still. It's quite mental that we still have this many runners. I was thinking how horrible it would be if we lost like Hamilton on lap 1 due to some kind of reliability issue, but thankfully that is not the case, and we're able to have an on-track battle, which we actually do need to have now because all the stops have been sorted. Hamilton was able to run a good pace in clear air for the last 10 laps. He got himself within my pit window, and now we have to fight it out on track to settle P2 in this Monaco Grand Prix. However, I'm going to have the massive advantage, like I said, with the fresh, soft compound tyres. So let's see how long Hamilton can keep me behind for. Rich fuel mixture. Hot lap is engaged. Fastest lap of the Grand Prix for Senna. It's a 12.0. We can certainly go a lot faster than that, which we will once we get some clear air. But here we go, side by side with our teammate up the hill into Casino Square. Hamilton trying to hold it around the outside, but no, we can't make it stick on the older tyres. And it's P3 for Hamilton, P2 for Senna, with only a handful of laps remaining in this Monaco Grand Prix. There we go, that is the move. A lot of space left, a lot of respect between the two teammates, which you love to see. And now we can set after the impossible task of trying to catch Sebastian Vettel. I don't think it's possible with green flag running to the end of the race, but we won't give up. We're going to press on, we're going to flex the muscles now with our Mercedes, with our fresh soft compound tyres, and we will march on as best we can. We can only hope for a safety car, for some horrendous traffic to get in the way of Vettel to slow him down now. His pace and consistency, I've said this before, but it's been phenomenal today. I've been pushing really, really hard. I've got in the groove really well around this circuit. I got through the traffic amazingly. And yeah, ever since I put on my second set of mediums, I was in this amazing groove. And I was only catching Vettel by, you know, half a second a lap, maybe 6/10 on an amazing lap. And other laps when I was just doing good laps, I would only catch him by a tenth or two. So Vettel, it just looked supreme out there. But meanwhile, that is our fastest lap of the race for us, an 11.7. Arguably, probably didn't make the best decisions with my ERS usage. I was getting a bit of wheel spin out of certain corners, so if I would have managed that a little bit better, I probably could have got a mid-11, maybe even low 11 if I got the absolute maximum out of it when the tyres were fresher. But it doesn't matter. Fastest lap, we're going to have it anyway, but it's going to be P2 for us. Sebastian Vettel is on his last lap. I think he's going to cross the line to win the race now in a whole buttload worth of traffic. But there we go. He is your winner of the Monaco Grand Prix after 78 laps. We are 31 seconds behind after 90 minutes of racing. That was the decisive factor, getting the lead at turn 1, having no traffic, making a really good strategy, making the most of clear air, and he takes the spoils here in Monaco. For us, amazing drive to get back to P2, a lot of phenomenal overtakes, battling with our teammates, and we are just going to get P2.
Good job, you did really well. Super driving.
Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
Here come our winners now. A thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again.
There he is, Sebastian Vettel with the W. Ayrton Senna and Lewis Hamilton on the podium at the exact same time. That is a picture I never thought I would see. The two teammates not going over to acknowledge each other, which I think is interesting. So maybe a bit of tension between the two after that race. There was a bit of tussling at different stages. I'd imagine that Hamilton would be pretty furious over the radio if his teammate on older tyres was basically blocking him for half the race. But there you go. That is 78 laps of Monaco. Would have been very, very interesting if Hamilton would have cleared me in his first or second pit stop, the one where he was overtaking the Renault. If he would have got in front of me at that moment, P2 might have been his, or at least it would have been a really close fight to try and chase him down in the dying laps. Regardless, it was an amazing race. I hope you guys enjoyed. If there's any other challenges you want to see in the future from me, feel free to let me know. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more racing game content. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next video, I'll see you next time.